Yo guys, what's up? Sleepyo here. Today I have one of the best support builds in the game for you. Don't look at my attributes or armor and health, because the pieces I have are so bad and the build is so unoptimized, it is actually crazy, but that's just the only pieces I actually have, because you can only get that set from the raid. So if you can't complete a raid, then that video is probably not very helpful to you. I will go over everything in a sec and what I would have to improve to make that build viable to play. Because right now, I wouldn't even play it in the full raid. There's like a few parts where I can play it, but there's one or two parts especially where it doesn't work because it's just not enough survivability. But as always, let's start with the specialization. You probably know that it is a sniper set, so you just have to go for sharpshooter. That's just more headshot damage, reload speed, and stability. And you will be using a semi-automatic sniper, something like the SVD, so the stability helps. And yeah, also the headshot damage, since it's a sniper build. I will actually show you the guns later. I will first explain the gear set real quick. So the set I'm using is Asus and 8s, if you didn't see it in the title already. So I wouldn't recommend playing that solo at all, because there's a lot of builds that are way better if you play solo. But if you're in a group of 4, it's really good, I can tell you that. On the set it says that it applies to your party/raid members, but it actually only applies to your subgroups in the raid, so not to all 7 players. Just to the 3 players that are in your subgroup. So I don't know if that's intended, but yeah, that's definitely not so cool, because if it says raid, then I expect it to work for everybody. So that means if you want all your group members to have the buff of that set all the time, you need 2 of those sets in each subgroup. Anyways, the 2-piece of Aces and 8s gives you 20% weapon handling, the 3-piece 20% accuracy, and the 4-piece 10% marksman rifle damage, so sniper damage. The 5-piece, Dead Man's Hand, I will actually just show you that in the shooting range and not explain it right here. So as you can see in my UI under my nades and medkits, I have 5 of those cards, right? And those are part of the set. So the 5-piece, I will read it out first and then explain what it actually means. Flip a card by shooting an enemy with your marksman rifle, headshot, flip 2. So body shot, flip 1 card, and headshot flips 2 cards, and you have 5 overall, right? Full House increases clip size by 100% for 10 seconds, and that applies to your full team. 4 of a Kind grants 30% bonus armor for 10 seconds. That also applies to the full group, and the bonus armor doesn't affect Berserk. So if your group member is playing Berserk, and they get the buff, then it doesn't affect it at all. It's just that blue bonus armor, and yeah, that doesn't affect Berserk at all. It just counts like you have no armor if you actually have no armor and get that buff. And then Aces and 8s grants the next 5 shots 100% more damage. That is especially nice for yourself, since you will have a sniper. So let me quickly demonstrate it. Alright, if I shoot on the body, then as you can see, one of the cards flips. And if I shoot the body again, then another card will flip, and headshots would flip 2 cards. I will demonstrate that in a second as well. And as soon as you flipped all 5 cards, you will actually get a buff. And under the cards, it will tell you which buff you got. You will also have an icon of the buff, but those are kinda hard to memorize. I don't know, there's 3 different icons, but they all look pretty equal. And since they are pretty small, it's pretty hard to memorize them anyways. So I would just always look under the cards when you are about to get a buff, and then just check what you got. And yeah, that's basically how the set works. You just hit a few shots with your sniper, preferably on the head, because yeah, then it goes way faster than just body shots. And yeah, that way you get yourself some nice buffs. I would say the most useful buff is the mag size, but not really for yourself, more for your teammates. Because whatever build they are playing, if they're playing something like an AR build and have a 50 round mag and get that buff, yeah, then the mag is on 100, right? And all they have to do is just reload their magazine when they get the buff, and yeah, then it will refill to 100. It also doesn't reset, so your mag will just be on 100 bullets all the time, and it will not reset after 10 seconds, because the set description says that it lasts for 10 seconds, but those 10 seconds is just a time that you have to actually reload the gun, and as soon as you did that, then the mag will stay on 100% more ammo. The other 2 buffs are also useful, but you don't really have to do anything for them. I mean, you just get a little bit more damage for the next 5 bullets or some extra armor. But it's not like you gotta call that out or something. Because when I played that set, I actually called out when I got the ammo buff, so my team members could reload in time. One thing that I kind of forgot to say is that this set requires the sharpshooter specialization. So there's actually only So when I went over my specialization, that was actually the only option you have if you want to play that set, because sharpshooter will activate those the 5 and 6 piece. Talking about the 6 piece though, Sheriff's Favor. So effects of Dead Man's Hand, which is the 5 piece, also apply to all of your party / raid members. As I said, it doesn't apply to all the raid members, just to your subgroup. So yeah, just 3 of your group members will get the buffs you get as well from that. And that is huge. That is pretty big, especially for the raid. For normal, easy content like, I don't know, heroic bounties, even heroic missions, I don't really see that as hard or challenging content. It just takes some time and you have to play a little bit careful. But to me, that's not really hard content. The raid is hard content. And that set is basically made for the raid. The buffs you get, or at least 2 of them, are just a big increase to your teammates' DPS. So, now that I went over the set, let me go to my guns and over the gear real quick. Because there's not too much to say, it's pretty simple what you want. So as gun, you definitely want the SVD, because it's the best semi-automatic sniper in my opinion. There's nothing that's better than that, I think. So, yeah, as you can see, I have 71.5k damage, which can definitely be higher if you have better rolls. But the build is not about the damage for yourself, it's only about supporting really. As talents, however, you want Lucky Shot to increase your mag size, at least with the SVD, and then probably extra to increase your mag size further. As mods, I have the C79 scope, which gives me 5 damage to elites, but I mainly use it because it has the option to scope in, and that means I get 25% more headshot damage from the Nemesis, because that's my secondary. As magazine, I have the 5-round Marksman Rifle mag, which is tied to the weekly or daily projects that give you a blueprint. So you can't really farm that efficiently, you just have to hope for good RNG. If you don't have that, just go for the 20% reload speed mag. As underbarrel, I have plus 10% accuracy, and as muzzle, some stability, because the SVD has some kick, so yeah, the stability is definitely helpful. As a secondary, I would definitely recommend the Nemesis. First, because of the holster talent, that will also benefit your main gun, and then also because of the really high base damage, which is further increased if you get that Aces and 8s buff, that gives you 100% more weapon damage. So that Nemesis can hit really, really hard. Yeah, as you could see, that's a little bit over 6 million with a really unoptimized build, and yeah, that's pretty nice, especially for some bosses in the raid. Now to the actual gear. As you can see on my attributes, that set mainly rolls offensives and some utility as well. But it actually can also roll defensive on every single piece except the knee pads, because the knee pads can only have a crit chance all the time. It's basically like True Patriot, so you could have a lot more defensive, but I actually don't have a single defensive item. The 2 defensive attributes I have are from mod slots. So I got pretty damn unlucky, I would say, because I just don't want skill power or cooldown reduction, I want health and armor to survive. Because that is really hard with that build right now. As you can see, my armor and health is super bad. I can't really play the second boss of the raid with that, and not the last boss either, because I just die all the time and I can't do anything to prevent it. So I wish you good luck at getting better pieces, but yeah, I got really unlucky. On the mask, you want damage to elites and health, as high damage to elites as you can get. Mine is not that high, because I just didn't want to destroy one of my really good masks just for that. Because I maybe get a mask with health instead, because I really don't want to play that mask. My chest is also not that good, at least it has weapon damage and headshot damage. But you definitely want headshot damage, weapon damage, and then armor, I think, or health, like one of those. That chest also comes with 2 mod slots, 1 defensive system and 1 offensive protocol. In the offensive protocol, I just have 3 headshot damage. I don't know, I think I just used all my other mods somewhere else, so that's why I didn't really bother putting something else in here. But yeah, just use a mod with headshot damage and weapon damage, that's definitely more beneficial. In the defensive system mod, I have a Marksman Rifle damage generic mod right here, because it doesn't really give me that much more armor if I just put a armor mod in here. And yeah, my armor is so low that I don't even care getting a little bit more. Like, sure, I would probably be over 200k, but the difference between 190 and 200k armor is so little that it doesn't matter. On the holster, it's the same thing. You want a crit chance and then health. I didn't even reroll that holster, because I know that I won't play it. It's just, I have it equipped now to show the build, and because it's the only holster I have. The problem is that you can't farm those pieces efficiently, since they are raid drops, and those raid drops are weekly. That means if you have 4 characters, you can get those drops 4 times a week, and then you can't farm that anymore. Because yeah, it only drops from the raid and only once per week, because if you complete the raid once, then you don't get the special rewards from the raid anymore. For example, the new gear pieces and also the exotic AR. And that's why all my pieces are really bad, because that's just the only pieces I have. If I had better, I would show them for sure, but yeah, that's just the best I could put together, because that's the only pieces I literally have. Anyways, on the holster you also have an offensive protocol mod slot, which I modded with weapon damage and headshot damage. On the backpack I have the same problem than I have on the chest, just no defensive attributes. So in a perfect scenario you want, I guess, weapon damage, then armor and percent armor here. That would definitely be the dream. The backpack also has a defensive system mod, which I modded with armor and total armor, because I only have one generic marksman rifle mod. On the gloves, I just have a marksman rifle damage and skill power right now. Obviously you want marksman rifle damage and then health. Lastly, my knee pads. As I said in the beginning, those only roll crit chance. They don't roll 2 stats. And yeah, that's the only stat they can roll. So crit chance is fine, right? Could be a little bit higher, but I mean, it's not a crit build anyway, so who cares? Those knee pads also have an offensive protocol mod. As you can see, a lot of offensive protocol mods in that build. And yeah, you just want weapon damage, headshot damage in that one, and yeah, that's it. As skills, at least for the raid, I would run the Reviver Hive, because you will go down sometimes with whatever build you play in the raid. It is really hard to avoid that. And then probably the chem launcher, because you also gotta heal yourself sometimes. With the SVD right now, I barely have crit chance and crit damage, which is obvious, you don't even want that. But at least I have 191 headshot damage. But it's a marksman rifle, so that's not too insanely high. But 180 to 200 headshot damage is definitely nice to have. Then, since I'm also sharpshooter, I have 30% reload speed, 30 accuracy from the gear set, 50 stability from the mod and sharpshooter, 35% weapon handling, because I think I have optimized, and you also get weapon handling from the gear set. So my gun is stable as fuck, and it's super accurate as well, because yeah, so much accuracy and weapon handling, that's pretty damn nice. My weapon damage is only on 20, even though I have weapon damage on the backpack and chest. But yeah, as you saw, my pieces are not that good, so they could definitely be better. Then I also have 23 marksman rifle damage, which comes partly from the set and then also from my mods and the gloves. But now to the big problem with all of the gear set builds, and that's a problem you can't change, and it is my damage to elites. Since it is a raid build mainly, I would say, because as I said, it's not really that great for any other content, since you just run through that easily anyways if you have a good build. The build really shines in the raid, and yeah, in the raid there's a lot of elites, there's 4 bosses, and yeah, I have 41 damage to elites. And I can't get much more. The max I could get on the mask is 50, and then I could have the scope, which gives me another 5. So 55 is probably the max damage to elites you will ever see on a build like that, because you don't have hard hitting on any of the pieces, since there's no talents on gear pieces. So that really limits that build, but since it's so good at supporting your team, it is alright. You are just not dealing much damage at all. And that's it. That's my Aces and 8s build. Even though it has a lot of downsides, I still think it is one of the best support builds, just because of those 2 buffs with the mag size and extra damage. That is just, especially the mag size, is just so good for your teammates. So I guess that video was more of a guide for that build and not my actual build that I run, because yeah, you shouldn't look too much at my pieces. I told you what you should go on all the pieces, and I think that's what you should stick to. Thanks for watching, good luck raiding if you want to get the set, and yeah, see you in my next video. Bye!
Oh, 120 round mag, holy fuck.
Holy fuck. Bad damage. And again? But you can't reload, right? That's the thing. You can't reload if you're on 80 bullets or
something. It's procced on my screen. Now it's procced on my screen. Now I reloaded and I got 120 again. Jesus.
Okay. And again.
Hitting 200k headshots on league. The mag size is so crazy, dude.
It's just insane, yeah. Just in a matter of a few seconds, all 3 buffs. That's pretty nice.
That's a pretty nutty set.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's a swishy build.
One cares.
I killed him pretty quick, 50k headshots.
That one is aces and eights right now that you have.
This guy's just feeding us, I guess.
Yeah. That's fine. Such a big mag as well. 35 bullets with the buff.
I mean,
It's
yeah, I'm
so
right here
good.
with 112, dude.
Lit.
This is gross. It's like, oh, do you have an LMG? Nah.
Nah, I'm rocking the exotic, yeah, boy.
This is the exotic LMG now.
It's pretty good, eh?
It's fucking insane.